Well, how we feel about ourselves affects every relationship that we have. If you don't love yourself, you're not going to have good relationships with other people. That and more next on Enjoying Everyday Life. Today I want to talk to you about your self-image and your future. Because your self-image is a picture that you carry of yourself on the inside of your heart. Just like you carry photos of your family or people you love in your wallet, you also carry a picture of yourself inside of you. Some of you, because you've been hurt in the past, you don't see yourself the way you are at all. You don't see yourself the way God sees you. You have a warped perception. You don't see the value that you have. You don't see the worth that you have. You don't see the preciousness that you have to God. How you feel about yourself affects every relationship that you have. We've read scriptures all weekend that you love your neighbor as you love yourself. If you don't love yourself, you will not be able to have good relationships with other people. We've talked about loving your life. And I think that we make a big mistake in expecting something, some major thing to go on in our lives every day. Don't minimize the power of little things that transpire in the course of your normal everyday life. I think that we're anointed by God to live everyday ordinary life in a supernatural way. Amen? How many of you understand what I just said? See, I think a lot of people in the world, they have to have something enthusiastic, exciting going on all the time. But see, we can be enthusiastic and excited about everything that goes on, and especially the little things. I encourage you not to minimize the value of what you may perceive to be little things in your life. I think a lot of people don't like their life because, by all accounts, it's fairly normal. You know, you get up, you go to bed, you go to work, you drive in traffic, you clean the house, the family gets it dirty, you clean it again, you go to the grocery store, you get up, you go to bed, you drive in traffic, you go to church. How many of you are with me? And you can't blame life and say, why aren't you exciting? I hate you because you're not exciting. No, you're the one that needs to be excited. You're the one that needs to be filled with passion and zeal. And whatever kind of a life you have, if you add your passionate zeal and holy fervor to it, then that life becomes exciting just because you're living it for God's glory. I came here purposely to teach you how to love your life and how to love yourself. And it's very important to me when I leave that I believe we've made some headway in that area. And you're not going to go around thinking, you know, I wish I had your life. I wish I looked like you. I wish I had your body. I wish I had your nice, thick, curly hair. I wish I had a car like that. All it does is breed discontentment. And the Bible says you have not because you ask not. It doesn't do you one bit of good to be jealous of what somebody else has. If there's something you want, you need to ask God for it. If there's something you want, you need to ask God for it. And if it's right for you, it will come at the right time in your life. I think I better say that again. If there's something you want, ask God for it. And if it's right for you, it will come at the right time in your life. And it won't come through your struggle or your effort. It'll come by the mercy and the grace of God. Now, The other point I've been trying to get across this weekend is enjoy where you're at on the way to where you're going. See, it's great to be a visionary, but some people that are visionaries, some people that are highly motivated and have a lot of goals in their life, they almost let their visions and goals and dreams become a source of torment to them, because they don't know how to enjoy where they're at while they're getting to the place where they're going. I'm sure you all understand, when you look off in the distance, you see the horizon. You know what that is. And the closer you get to it, you know, the more the vision of it changes and becomes a reality. But God told me one time, that horizon over there represents the goal that you have right now for your life. But when you get there, say, like, the closer you get, the horizon's always moving. And so I'm doing so many things right now. I'm living in the dreams that I had 28 years ago, but now I have new dreams and new visions. And I'll be honest with you, I did waste a lot of my life being miserable, not enjoying where I was at. And that's one of the reasons why I wrote the book that's on my table, Enjoying Where You're At on the Way to Where You're Going, because I don't think a lot of people know how to do that. And even as far as you yourself and the changes that you're looking for God to make in you, in your personality, how many of you are believing God for change in yourself? You want to change, okay. And how many of you are believing for some changes in some of your loved ones and family members? Some of us, oh, big boy, you got real excited now. You guys are somebody, oh, yeah. But now, you know what? It's foolish not to enjoy yourself right now while God is changing you. And it's foolish not to enjoy the other people that God has placed in your life while God is changing them. Some of those people that you think you should have never got hooked up with may be more valuable to you than you realize. You know, we get married and we start fighting about all of our differences. And the whole point is the fact that we're different is what brings balance. Amen? When Dave and I got married, I worried about everything. He worried about nothing. I never had fun. He had fun all the time. He always accused me of running ahead of God. I said, yeah, and you're 10 miles behind him. And it's so true that you are attracted to what you don't have. You know? I'm like just, you know. And Dave is like, well, the greatest thing that I needed in my life was a stable person, because I had never been around anybody stable. While I was growing up, everybody was just like all over the place, and you never knew from one day to the next what was going to happen. And the greatest gift that my husband has brought into my life is a stable person who is the same all the time, likes everybody. I've been married to Dave almost 39 years, and I think in those 39 years I could maybe say there's been 2 or maybe 3 people that he's voiced that he didn't like in 39 years. Well, when I started out, there might have been 1 person I did like. Now, I've changed now, and I know last night after I talked to you about how I don't have a gift of hospitality, you guys probably thought, man. Well, you know what? We talked about the word hospitality last night, and it means more than having people to your house. I'm friendly. I just like to do it at somebody else's house. And the word hospitality means you make people comfortable. And I try to do that too. If I'm out and somebody's by themselves or a stranger, I'll try to include them and make them comfortable. So, I'm not as bad as you think. Thought I better defend myself a little bit, you know. Enjoy your life. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy the people that God's put in your life. And yeah, you may have some people in your life that you never should have gotten around. And if it's somebody that you can get away from, then do it. But if it's somebody that you're going to be around anyway, then you might as well start finding some stuff in them that you do like. And I can either concentrate on the fact that Dave is stable, and I love that, or I could concentrate on the fact that every time he gets up from the table, he leaves the chair out. You know, we get these little nitpicky things that bug us. You know, there are people getting divorces because of the way they squeeze the toothpaste tube. That's kind of dumb, don't you think? So, we want you to enjoy your life, but I think that I might as well tell you that most of you, your life is probably going to be a fairly normal, ordinary life, but that doesn't mean it can't be exciting. Don't minimize the power of little things that transpire in the course of your normal, everyday life. Jesus washed feet, John 13, and he did it as an example to us. One of the most exciting things that you can do in life, and it may not be exciting to your flesh, but it is exciting to your spirit and it's exciting to God, is you can wash feet. And I'm not talking about literally getting a pan of water and washing feet. Jesus did this as an example to show people that it was important to serve one another, to do little things for one another. Can I help you with that? Could I do that for you? Could I give you a ride there? You don't have one of these, I have two. Can I give you one? Verse 1 says, before the Passover feast began, Jesus knew and was fully aware that the time had come for him to leave this world and return to the Father. And as he had loved those who were his own in the world, he now loved them to the last and to the highest degree. Wow. So if I'm understanding this right, he's saying that loving people to the highest degree that you can love them is all about serving them. So it was during supper, Satan already having put the thought of betraying Jesus in the heart of Judas, that Jesus, knowing, fully aware that the Father had put everything into his hands and that he had come from God and was now returning to God. And verse 3 is very important because it's telling us that he is able to wash feet because he knew who he was. See, if you're trying to impress people so you can impress yourself, then you won't be able to serve people. You'll only be able to do things that seem to be important because you will think that you get your worth and value out of the important things that you do. And I'll tell you the truth, and I mean this with all my heart, I think some of the most important people in the world and some of the most important people to God are the ones who do the little things behind the scenes. I really do. I believe that. Even Billy Graham has said publicly, I'm getting a lot of my reward right here, right now. You know, you may not have somebody clapping for you every time you stand up like I do. But let me tell you something. If you're doing behind the scenes simple little things that God has told you to do, you have an equal reward to anybody else. If you're praying for me, that's one of the most important things that I need. One of the most important people in my life is my housekeeper. She's the one who packs me for these trips and unpacks it all when I get home, and she's the one who helps take care of all these clothes that you like to look at, and she's the one that just makes sure that all the details are covered. And she's a very important person to me. Another young woman that works for me is like a personal assistant, and she does a lot of things for me. I have an elderly mom and dad and an aunt, all of which I'm responsible to take care of. And just in doctor's appointments alone, it takes up sometimes 3 and 4 and 5 days a month. And this girl works for me. Now, I pay her personally. The ministry doesn't pay her. But she helps me with them. And she has a gift with the elderly, and they've known her for years. And so she takes care of their hair, and she takes them to the doctor's appointments, and she helps get groceries, and she does different things like that. Well, she is extremely valuable to me. Can you imagine what kind of pressure that would put on me if I had to try to do all that? So I help with the financial part of that, and she helps with the labor part of that. And don't ever think, if you're doing things like that, just things that would come under the category of washing feet, that makes you not a valuable person. It is, you are so valuable. Because you see, most people won't do anything unless they're getting a lot of credit and unless somebody's making a lot of noise about it. Because to be honest with you, most of us still are learning how to do what we do unto the Lord and not to be admired and appreciated. And the people you're doing things for should appreciate you, but even if they don't, you should still do what God's asked you to do and do it unto Him. Loving people to the highest degree is serving them. Jesus was able to do it because He knew who He was. Verse 4, He got up from supper, took off His garments, took a servant's towel, fastened it around His waist, poured water into the wash basin, began to wash the disciples' feet and wiped them with the servant's towel with which He was girded. And when He came to Simon Peter, Peter said to Him, Lord, are my feet to be washed by you? Is it for you to wash my feet? And Jesus said to him, you do not understand now what I'm doing, but you will understand later. And Peter said to him, you shall never wash my feet. And Jesus answered him, unless I wash you, you have no part with me. You have no share in companionship with me. Do you realize what that's saying? If we don't do things for one another, and there's two sides to this, people need to do things for others, and others need to learn how to receive. Some people don't know how to receive when you're trying to do something for them, and that's equally bad. Oh no, oh no, oh no. You just say, wow, thank you. And I appreciate that. I tell people all the time, I've learned how to receive. Don't come around offering me something hoping I won't take it, because I will. Come on, get rid of that holy, phony, religious, oh, no. You know you want it, take it. Don't sit there and act like you don't and make somebody try to talk you into it. Just say, wow, praise God, I've been believing for that. Thank you. I'm telling the truth, and you know it. Get rid of that false humility. And some of you are disappointed if the person doesn't try to talk you and just like, okay. Wow. We don't have any part in each other if we don't serve each other. How can I say Jackie and I have fellowship if she just works for me and then I know she has a need and I won't get involved in the need? We need to be serving one another. And then he goes on and he says, I've done this as an example to you, that you might do in your turn what I've done to others. And I love verse 17. If you know these things, how many of you know that you should be serving others? How many of you know that? You know that being a servant is the high call on our life. That's what the word minister means, by the way. Minister doesn't mean I'm a big shot, it means I'm a servant. All a big shot is a little shot away from home anyway. It's amazing how unimpressed the folks at home are with me. People come to my kids, what's it like to have Joyce Meyer for your mother? She's just my mother. Just mom. If you know these things, blessed and happy and to be envied are you if you practice them. So, where's the joy in the church? Why do we have so many unhappy Christians? It's right there. You don't need to wonder anymore why you're not happy. It's not your little house and your old car. It's not because you didn't get the promotion at work, and it's not all the other people in your life that you wish were spiritual giants, and they're not. If you know these things, happy are you if you do them. One more time. If you know these things, and after today you cannot say you don't know. Sorry, you lost all your excuses. Well, I got problems of my own. I need to get myself straightened out first. No. You don't have any ability to straighten yourself out. Forget that. What you need to do is deposit yourself with God, ask Him to straighten you out, and you need to get busy sowing seeds into somebody else's life so God can bring a harvest in your own. Can I give you a secret? The less you think about yourself, the happier you're going to be. Now, I don't mean not to do things for yourself. I don't mean not to take care of yourself. There's a balance in everything. But you don't need to go around all day long like that little robot I do for you on TV, just saying all day, what about me, 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 beep, beep, what about me, what about me, what about me. Get yourself off your mind and start washing some feet. Well, what if they stink? Well, some of the things that God asked you to do may not be the prettiest things in the world, and they may not be the most pleasant things in the world. But do them. You'd be amazed how many divine appointments you're missing because you don't know what might be waiting for you, what miracle may be waiting for you at that little unpleasant foot washing task. I saw a woman in a restaurant yesterday, and she told me this story. She said, God had asked me to make a meal for somebody that was battling cancer and take it to him. And she said, first of all, I don't like to cook. And secondly, I was really busy, and I didn't really want to do that. So I murmured and grumbled, but I knew God wanted me to do it. And then I repented because I murmured and grumbled. And so I took the meal. And she said, while I was there, I met a woman who works for your media buying agency in Tulsa. And she said, oh, well, if you're going to go to the Joyce Meyer meeting, I can get you front row seats. You never know what that foot washing may get you. See, you got to understand that God can bless you anywhere. Some of you are so intent on trying to find somebody to marry. Well, you know what? If you're serving God, you could go take out your trash and meet somebody. Come on. Come on, I want the church to get happy. I want you to enjoy your life, and I want you to enjoy yourself. Can you even imagine what would happen in the world if every Christian, every person who calls himself a Christian would really start walking in love and serving other people? Wow, I mean, there would be a light shining from the church that would dispel the darkness. People would be drawn in. We can't be like the world. We're in the world, but we are not of the world. We cannot act like the world. We have to go the extra mile and do things our flesh doesn't want to do because we know God is asking us to do them. Little things, simple things. Don't let the devil tell you, well, that doesn't matter, that's not important. Now, he had died and been resurrected from the dead. So now, he is going to appear to his disciples as the resurrected King of Kings. I mean, it's one thing to wash feet before you've been experienced a resurrection. But now, he comes as the resurrected Lord of glory. And there's a whole thing here in John 21. I'm not going to read you the whole thing, but it says he appeared to them, and they'd been fishing, and morning was breaking. Verse 4, morning was already breaking when Jesus came to the beach and stood there. However, the disciples didn't know it was him. So Jesus said to them, boys, did you catch any meat? Have you caught any fish? They said, no. And he said, well, cast your net on the right side of the boat and you'll find some. There's a whole message in that. You know, sometimes we're doing life our way and we don't catch nothing. And then he goes on, and they did what he told them to, and they caught fish. And verse 9 says, and when they got out on land, came to the beach. Now watch this. They saw a fire of coals there and fish lying on it, cooking, and bread. And Jesus said to them, bring some of the fish which you just caught. So Simon Peter went aboard and hauled the net to land full of large fish, 153 of them, and there were so many of them, the net was not torn. And Jesus said to them, now watch this, Jesus said to them, come and have breakfast. You know, there's a secret to really being joyful. And I think a lot of people they live their whole life and never know this secret. And it's simply this: the less you think about yourself, the more joyful you will be. It's true. I've tried living both ways. I've been selfish and self-centered and everything being what about me, what about me? And I've learned how to get myself off my mind and actually think about what I can do to help somebody else. And I can tell you I have a lot more joy now than I did when I was just thinking about myself all the time.